Saludos amigos, Cash, your president and CEO of real estate in LasTerrenas.com, Cash International Luxury Real Estate. Hey guys, how's it going out there? Hope everybody is doing absolutely fantastic. Guys, before we get going, you know this man right here, but before we get going, both of us just want to say thank you to all of you internationally, all around the world that have been diving into the Dominican Republic and looking at it as an investment opportunity. Either you're planning on doing it or you have done it. And for those reasons, because of the global appeal of this market here in Las Terrenas, guys, we have been so incredibly busy. That is one of the reasons we've taken a few months. We've been gathering tons and tons of information, international investors coming in from all over the world. We've been gathering information, putting it together, really working hard for this episode here today. And it took us a little bit longer to prep for this one, but we've got an important episode here. This is episode number 6 of the almost famous documentary, the docuseries I'm doing here with my good friend, The Truth About Buying Real Estate in the Dominican Republic. All right, guys, so if you're new to the channel, it's the first time you're watching, we've got 5 more episodes for you to watch. Make sure you go to episode number 1 and run through all of those strategically put together episodes that teaches you how to buy real estate in the Dominican Republic, okay? So what we're doing here today, guys, first off, I'm going to go ahead, in case you're new to the channel, I'm going to introduce the senior counsel here at Guzman, the largest law firm here in the Dominican Republic. They have over 90 attorneys spread out throughout the country. I believe 10 offices now. This is a powerhouse, and that's why we're associated with them, because they are going to take care of you as our clients. And guys, today we have Vladimir, our good friend and trusted attorney, that is going to be joining us here for this episode, where we are going to be talking about
buying property with an LLC or at your personal name. Hello, everyone. Like Cash says, for those who didn't know me, I'm Vladimir, real estate lawyer here based in Guzman Las Terrenas office. Like Cash, I want to say thank you to all of you as well. Not only because you are the reason that we have been extremely busy lately, but because I didn't know how much. The good part of not being able to deliver this episode for a while was that this allowed me to know how much you guys like this section of the channel, because everybody was just asking, correct, when is the next video going to go up? When is the next video going to go up? Well, exactly. Now you have it. We're here, and today we're talking about a very, very important matter, because buying with buying real estate here in the DR, either at your personal name or at the name of an LLC, might have different repercussions, just like it does in your country. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go over those details today. So, yeah, guys. So exactly. Thousands and thousands of you have been reaching out and asking, when is the next episode coming? Because I have alluded to some of you that have sent me a WhatsApp. That's we're going to be hitting a very, very important topic here today. And that is, as Vladimir said, do you buy your property in your personal name, or do you buy it in an LLC? When we say LLC, Vladimir is going to clarify. Over here, we call it an SLR. Mm-hmm. Exactly the same as an LLC, mm-hmm. Exactly the same as buying in a corporation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so don't let the lingo throw you off. But there's key advantages to buying in a corporation, okay? Mm-hmm. And what Vladimir is going to do here over the next few minutes is he's going to lay out buying in your personal name or buying in a corporation, and then we'll proceed to ask mm-hmm. a few questions related to the advantages of buying mm-hmm. in a corporation. Okay? Correct. So yeah, so let's start with that. Tell me the advantages of buying real estate in a corporation here in the Dominican Republic. Okay, well, that's a question I hear very, very often from all the clients and potential clients that we speak here every day. So you guys here in the channel will get to know that before you get to have an info session with us here when you come here to buy your property. So, and the most honest answer to that question is that buying with an LLC or at your personal name, like buying with an LLC might be an advantage or not, depending on some specific circumstances. Correct. So there are some things that we're going to discuss now, and if those things make sense and are important for you, then it might be an advantage for you to buy with an LLC. But if these things are not important for you, then buying a property with an LLC might not make sense for you. Let me ask you a question. Sorry. Sometimes when we're talking with clients, we want to find out as brokers their long-term and short-term goals with the property and what they're looking for. So sometimes, depending on what they're looking to achieve, is that a variable? The kind of property they're buying? Mm-hmm. Are they planning on flipping it, keeping it?
doing construction, doing a development? Are those the variables that kick in?
Yeah, they are. And actually they are very related with taxation. Okay. But I would actually like to have that as the last topic of the video and talk about some other, because this one is the one that has the most complexity and more things, and I would like to get that as the final topic.
Let's bookmark that
and speak about some other things that wouldn't take much time, so we can get rid of them quickly. Guys, the first thing, the main reason that you have to take into consideration when you're going to buy with an LLC or at your personal name here in the DR and everywhere in the world is liability. This is one of the most important things. So here in the DR, let's say that you're purchasing a property. Like I said, depending on the purposes and what are the goals that you want to achieve with this investment, then you might consider, because of a matter of liability, to do your purchase with an LLC or not. Why? Well, because let's say that you buy the property with an LLC. You have a car that's on your name, and let's hope not, but you are involved in any kind of incident that involves your liability, like for example, like a car crash or something. If the property is at the name of an LLC and the car is at your personal name, then the assets will be considered owned by separate entities. So nobody will be able to go after the assets that you own at the name of some corporations if they would sue you because of something related to your personal LLC.
Flip side, if the car is owned in a corporation and your property is in your personal name, does the same thing apply? Correct.
Or flip side, when the corporation owns the LLC and then you have a problem with a tenant or something, someone falls and there's a leak on the roof and someone falls and gets injured and it's at the name of an LLC, then that tenant would not be able to sue you for the things you own at your personal name, because that's a property that's owned by a corporation.
Got it.
So toying with that and handling your liability, it's one of the most important things that you have to think about, and one of the main reasons why people decide whether they are going to purchase that property at an LLC or not. Sometimes, if you're one of the hundreds or thousands of people that are investing currently in Las Terrenas, not to invest or do Airbnb or something, and they just want to have their
retirement home.
Yeah, and they're going to own it and they're going to live there, then perhaps, unless none of the things we're going to talk about in this video are important for you, then you might want to buy it at your personal name. But yeah, that will depend on every circumstance. So in this video, it's important for you to know, it's just as reference and it's an educational video for you guys to have the general information, but you should be aware that every case is different. And we would evaluate your case when we are at the point that, hey, I'm going to buy this. These are the purposes I have. This is what I'm going to do. And then every case we evaluate it, and then we decide whether you should go with an LLC or not. But you should be aware that currently something between 70 to 80% of our clients are doing it with an LLC, including cash.
Yes,
so he's buying all his property and all the investment he's making that you are aware of, because he talks about it here in the channel.
Yes, definitely.
Different corporations.
And it all depends on the property. Some are, most are. Exactly.
Yeah, correct. So the second thing after the liability, the second thing to take into consideration is confidentiality. For any reason, there's people that do not, it doesn't have to be related to anything illegal or anything.
Of course.
For any reason, people would not want
it's your privacy.
The certificate of title to be at their personal name and to be in any public record. They put it at the name of an LLC because they, for any reason, they don't want someone to know that they own this property and or whatever.
And for all of our North American clients out there, it's no different. It's really the same thing. You guys, many of us will own property in a corporation in North America. Again, protection liability-wise, and for anonymity, confidentiality. Very similar. The things I like about this is very similar reasons for owning a property in a corporation here as in the USA. So if you understand that, I can't speak to Europe as much, but if you understand it there and you do it there, then it makes sense for you to do it here because it would be the same mindset.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So again, for any reason, if you would like to own your assets, like people would have, let's say, bank accounts at Panama at the name of in an offshore company and not at their personal name. So again, I'm not suggesting that it has to be related for anything illegal, but again, depending on the circumstances of every client, depending on where they're coming from and the regulations of their country, then confidentiality might be important for them, and one of the reasons, one of the ways you can just not allow everyone to know that you own a property here in Las Terrenas is just putting it at the name of a corporation.
Very simple.
So then another important matter we have is
number 3.
The clients usually ask, hey, I am buying this property, but what if something happens to me? What would my heirs have to do? What happens? Well, if you own it at your personal name, you would have to go through a process that's called a determination of heirs process. Usually that's a bit complicated for non-Dominican clients, because it will mean that you will have to get a lot of documents like certificate of births, certificate of deaths, and a lot of stuff to be done. Those documents will have to be apostage, they will have to be translated.
How long does it take?
Well, depending on how fast the clients could provide us those documents, and as soon as we have all the documents that we will require, assuming we have everything, it usually takes something between 8 to 12 months.
Wow.
And usually,
and that's when you have everything.
Yeah, and that's when we have everything.
And getting those documents is not an easy task.
And it happens. So, but with an LLC, that doesn't necessarily happens like that, because an LLC does not necessarily disappear when one of the shareholders dies. I had a case recently here in the office in which there was an LLC which was owned by 3 shareholders, a couple, and their daughter. So their daughter, unfortunately, she died tragically in
that's sad.
In a car crash. They didn't want to live in the house anymore because they just wanted to return to the country because it was a very sad story, because it was they want to have that home for them, and they just, when she passed away, they just didn't want to live here and have the house anymore. They wanted to return. And they avoided that process because they had enough shares, and according to the bylaws, they were authorized to sign, even though there was one of the shareholders that passed away. So they avoided to make that process, and that's something you could do. So it's kind of a way to have all your assets more organized, kind of what you guys in Canada or in the United States do with a trust.
Yes.
In order that all those assets, when you are gone, are transferred to your heirs with no major repercussions, and avoiding difficult and tedious process that would involve a lot of money in both legal fees and taxes.
You had mentioned something there that I want to touch on. You said they had enough shares. Is there, and this is just a little bit off topic, but is there X number of shares that you need to have? Let's say the standard equation here, guys, is typically husband and wife. Okay, that's usually what's happening, and husband and wife have a couple kids, either grown up or children, and they want to be able to leave it to them when they leave planet Earth. So setting up a corporation is the way to achieve that. And how does that process actually happen? Mother and father leave, there's a corporation, the kids come, knock on your office door and say, hey, Vladimir, our parents passed. You say, I'm sorry. And how do you go about transferring that property to now the children who are rightful heirs of it?
Yeah, well, first, if something happens to any of my clients and one of their sons or daughters that I don't know comes here and say, hey, my father and mother passed away, I know they own a house or an apartment here, I want this transferred to you. It has happened, and it has happened,
it's very real,
with people, because I have clients, but I don't know all the daughters and sons of all my clients.
Yes.
So one of my clients might pass away and I might not know it.
Exactly.
And someone comes and hey, oh, somebody passed away. I'm like, what?
Yes.
But of course, the very first thing I'm going to ask you is for proof of that's happening. Okay, we're going to get the process done. Get me an apostage and translated certificate. It doesn't have to be translated, but apostage by the authorities on their country.
Proving
and we can translate it here.
Proving who you are, that's what that's
No, not only that, proving that their father indeed passed away.
Oh, I see, got it.
Because that's something we need. The very first thing we need to know is that indeed it happened.
Got it.
And of course, we are going to need those documents in order that we can perform the process in their favor. Because assuming that there's a couple, one of them passes away, they had 2 sons that were their heirs. In principle, the documents you would require to do that is a certificate of death.
Okay.
To prove that the person indeed passed away, a certificate of birth from you to prove that you are their son and their daughter, and we'll also have to sign a document with a notary with 7 witnesses.
Oh wow!
Because I don't have a way to prove that if you come here, that, let's say 2 sons, but there's another one that I don't know about, and I don't. There's not a way for me to know.
No way.
There's not a way to the Dominican authorities to know.
Of course.
So the way to do that is that we'll have to do a document with a notary with 7 witnesses that would recognize that those two are the only two sons or daughters that that person had in order that we can proceed in their favor.
It's amazing.
So it's a kind of a complicated process. We of course always find,
but secure. It's very
secure.
Process.
Of course we always find a way to make it, but it's a lot of work to be done. And again, these are the things that you usually can avoid: having your assets at the name of a trust on an LLC, or even a trust or an LLC that you have in your country.
Got it.
Which you could also register here in the Dominican Republic. And also we're going to talk about that in a bit.
About that here. That'll be one of the last topics we touch on. So we're at that's inheritance. That's point 3. What are some other advantages, if there are, in owning in a corporation?
Yeah. Then now we're going to talk about the first topic you mentioned about taxation.
Okay.
Which is perhaps the most important thing and what usually have the most interest of the clients.
Correct.
People want to know whether it's an advantage or not to buy an LLC because they want to know whether they're going to pay more taxes or not. And this is what happens. Let's say most of you are currently buying properties with Confutur. So taxation usually is not something you have to worry about. You might think, well, but there has to be some kind of disadvantage of buying it on LLC. And yes, there is one. Assuming that you're buying a property that...
Can I put a quick side note in here? Hey guys, Cash here, President and CEO of RealTyLasTerrenas.com. If you like what you're seeing here today, please remember, like, subscribe, and share this content. Thank you. On Confutur, those that are new to the channel that don't know what Confutur is, dig into the channel. We got about 400 videos. We do talk about Confutur, but a quick recap of Confutur is projects that are approved to have Confutur. It's a section written in the Dominican is it the Constitution, right into the section 158-01, I believe it is, and that allows for certain developers to have advantages when building their project, tax-free advantages specifically. Those advantages, one of them that translates through to the buyer is the advantage of having no property tax for 10 to 15 years, it depends. The other advantage is you pay no 3% transfer tax. So that's why he is diving a little bit deeper into the tax advantages. You might say, well, if I'm buying Confutur, why do I need to buy in a corporation? Do I lose those tax advantages? That's what he's touching on, just so you guys understand if you don't know it.
And if you want to have more details about the Confutur, then you should watch our next video, because the seventh video of this docu-series we're making is precisely to talk about all the details of the Confutur. So we're going to go, Cash has talked a lot about it, but in the next video we're going to get into a lot of details that all of you want to... Exactly. So here's the thing. Let's say that you are not buying a property with Confutur. If you're buying it at your personal name, what would your property tax be? Then this is how it works. Currently, if you buy a property, and that's the only property you own, who has a value of $160,000 or less, that property should not pay any tax. It's you don't have to pay tax for that property. But what if the value of that property is, let's say, $310,000? Then what happens is that you have an exemption of $160,000, and then you will pay 1% on the amount above. What will be the difference? $150,000. 1% of that, $1,500 a year. That is what you will pay. Then, does it work the same when you buy with a corporation? No. When you buy with a corporation, you have to pay 1% on the whole amount. So basically, you'll be paying $3,100. And you say, oh, well, that's a huge disadvantage because I pay double, I pay more. Yes, but if you buy with in a project that has Confutur and you wouldn't pay taxes, whether you buy at the name of a corporation or at your personal name, then the only disadvantage that there might be to buy a property with an LLC disappears, because you wouldn't be paying taxes anyway. And something you need to be aware of is that, yeah, in principle, if you don't have Confutur, you'll pay more. But something you need to be aware of is that in the future, when you resell this property, it will be much easier for both you and the buyer.
And the broker, because it makes it more marketable.
Yeah, it makes it more marketable to resell the property. Because the taxes repercussions are not only while you own the property. When you sell it, and when someone buys it, there are some tax repercussions.
And Confutur stays only with the first buyer.
Correct.
That's what?
The appreciation of the property and the taxation is also something that you should take into consideration. It's actually one of the most crucial. and most important thing that you should take into consideration.
Very well said. Yeah, we have numerous clients that own. Some clients as sellers will have property in a corporation, and others will have, like Vladimir saying, in their personal name. The one that's in a corporation is much more desirable to a potential buyer because of that savings. So there's so many advantages. And the other fact which we're forgetting is you also now have a corporation. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You're wondering, okay, great guys, yeah, it sounds awesome. We want to do a corporation. How much does it cost? He's going to give you a quick rundown of that, how much it costs, and how long it takes to establish one. So if I'm buying a property today and I close in a week, can I get a corporation quick enough? He'll tell you about that timeline. So maybe if you know you're going to buy here, maybe proactively you want to set up a corporation so you're ready to pull the trigger when the time comes and buying that corporation. So at this point, I'm going to jump into a little bit. There's one question I'm going to ask again, but let's jump into how much it costs to do it, and how long does it take, and what do they need? What do you need from them information-wise to set up a corporation?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that now, and also another topic that came to my mind, because there is, now I remember that a question that you guys usually make when we're here is whether you should form a corporation here in the DR, or should you use the one that you already have in your country, which also impacts the cost of how would it be. So we're going to talk about both things right now,
because that is a question we
get
asked a lot.
This will be the last topic of this video.
Exactly.
So this is how it works. The cost, of course, that's a very relative question, because the cost of forming a corporation will depend on the law firm that you select to make the process, because not every attorney has the same price. Not every law firm has the same fees.
Credibility.
Yeah, but you know also how it is. When you select an attorney, you have to select them with the same criteria that you select a wine when you go to the supermarket. Because if you choose one just because it's cheaper, then the next day you should not complain about the headache. So it happens
about the hangover.
Yeah, it happens with both the wine and the lawyers.
I agree.
So here with Guzman ariza, the price for the corporation is $1,400, including the name of the corporation, the draft of the bylaws, the notary fees, the taxes for a corporation, and getting the tax ID number. As you know, in the final invoice that you will receive, it would an 18% tax on the legal services would be added to the $1,400.
Got it.
So $1,400 plus 18%, if I remember correctly.
Got some smart subscribers. Let them do the math really quick. Put it in the comments.
I'll do it for them. It's $1,652.
Okay, got it.
That's the total cost for setting a corporation, and includes both legal fees and the expenses of the process. No surprises.
All in $1,652, but understand that their fees are the $1,400. Got it. Okay. So, and what about time frame? How long is that taking to set up, and what do you need from them?
Between 2 weeks, between 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, you can do it pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah, that's very, very fast. Sometimes even sooner, depending on the urgency, because it depends. And about the question you make, what would we need from them?
Yep.
Their passports.
Okay. That's
basically it. Their passports. We will get to draft the bylaws, which we'll send to the clients for them to review. It's important we'll also sending a form in which they'll provide us some information that we would require to prepare these bylaws. Like, for instance, what would be the majority of shares required to make the decisions, who will be the manager,
You're asking that today, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so these are very important things to do for your planning for the future.
Do you have to be here in the country to set up a corporation?
No, not really, because just like it happens with we already talked about power of attorney in one of our previous videos, which you can do either here in the Dominican consulate or using a notary in one of our clients' countries. Okay. They could just send us a power of attorney and we can take care of the process remotely. So they don't necessarily need to be here. Perfect. So if you want to have more details about how you should do this power of attorney in case you cannot come, then you should you have to go back and see our previous videos of our documentary.
We've got all the videos on a playlist on the channel, so if you click the playlist, Truth About Buying Real Estate in Dominican Republic, you'll see all those videos to date. Yep.
Correct. Now, as I was speaking, should you register a corporation that you have in your country here to buy the property, or should you form one? This is also a very relative question. So it might be
a very consistent question.
Yeah, and it might make sense for them or not, because in this particular case, what I tell to the clients is, look, believe it or not, the fact that you own a corporation already in your country, you don't automatically get to use it to buy here or in any other country. You have to do a process to register that corporation, like a branch.
Got it.
Here in the Dominican Republic, and then you can use it to buy or sell LLCs. Properties.
Got it.
So then what is better? Then what I always say to the client, the answer is very simple. If it brings you any kind of advantage in your country, in terms of taxation, that you have a trust or an LLC, and you want that to own the assets that you will buy here in the DR, if it brings you advantages in your country, then yes. But here in the DR, it doesn't change anything, whether you use your corporation from the United States or here. So that being said, I usually recommend to go with a Dominican LLC. Again, unless that it brings you some advantages that I might know in your country, because I'm a lawyer from the DR, not from the United States, Canada, other countries.
Or your tax
usually what they would do in that situation is that they would talk to both of their advisors, us here, and their accountant or their lawyer in their country, and then make a decision. But if for you it doesn't make any difference, depending on the country you're at, then probably the simplest thing and cheapest thing for you to do will be to form a Dominican LLC, because it's more expensive actually to register a branch of your existing,
how much does that cost?
Of your existing LLC in your country than creating one here. Why? Well, because most likely not only you will have to get those documents apostage, just like you will have to do with the documents to make the determination of heirs process, but you will also have to translate them here. And those are things you wouldn't have to do if you buy with a Dominican LLC. So again, why would you pay more unless there is something that will bring you an advantage in your country? Whether it's an advantage for your country, I don't know. That's something you guys have to check with your lawyers and your advisors from your respective countries.
No, well said, because I get asked that question a lot. So I think Vladimir answered that one perfect for us. I think that just about wraps up this episode, of buying in your personal name or in an LLC. Personally, I think the advantages at the end of this far outweigh the disadvantages of buying in a corporation. Buy it, and over here they'll say SLR. It's the same thing, LLC. Buy in that corporation. It's going to create those advantages liability-wise, confidentiality-wise, and it's going to make your life your heirs' life so much easier in the inheritance situation. And there's numerous tax advantages or tax strategies you can put into place. And the fifth one, it makes it more marketable for a broker like myself to be able to market that property to North American buyers. And let's be honest, everybody is looking to minimize costs wherever possible. Without sacrificing quality, you minimize costs, and that's kind of the name of the game, right?
Yeah. And the only thing that will be involved, important thing we mentioned before we end the video, is for you to make an annual declaration, which will not cost. Again, all the costs will be relative. That depends on the accountant, on the lawyer you hire.
Of course.
With us in the maintenance system, there will be an annual declaration. It will cost roughly $500 a year to maintain the corporation.
That's the bookkeeping services.
Make the renovation of the certificate of register. So you don't have to worry about that. We just receive an invoice every month on February, March, because the deadline to make the declarations is on April.
So got it.
Recently, we finished the maintenance systems with hundreds and hundreds of corporations that we have here, because like you, I just said, 70% of our clients or more are buying with our corporations because they share your same opinion that you just said to the buyers. And something else, guys, we might have skipped if we skipped any aspect that for you is relevant,
or a question
that you have, something we didn't talk about, because again, every case is different. And it might make sense or not, depending on your specific circumstances, to buy with an LLC or not. So there might be something you would like to know that we didn't talk about here in the video. And if that's the case, then do not hesitate to make the question here in the comments, or to just send a WhatsApp directly to KASH.
And what I'll do is I'll connect directly with you.
And we would have a chat in WhatsApp, and we could make it could give you the answers for all the questions that you may have in regards of this or any other of the matters that we have already discussed in the previous videos.
And we do that with countless clients. You know, as you're getting ready to purchase, sometimes we'll be talking to a client for 2 years before they come down and purchase. So it's a matter of educating yourself. And the key thing here about buying real estate, and I'm a big advocate of that because I follow it for myself. And Vladimir can say too, we are one of the true brokerages that are fighting for our clients. And that is something that we really, really hold close to our brand. So that being said, we want you to buy property safely and securely. And the key way to do that is get a great broker that's going to represent your interests. And then you're going to get a great attorney that is going to represent your legal interests to make sure you can purchase that property safely and securely and be able to sleep at night. That's what's key. Okay, so everything that we're going to talk about here in this docuseries, everything on this channel is about you understanding how to buy property in the Dominican Republic and how to buy it safely. Okay, so I think that's a great way to end the video. And guys, look for, I know it's been a little stretch here since the last video, but we are going to be putting out the remaining, I believe we have 3 more episodes coming. So we're going to be putting those out there in a pretty rapid fashion because we want to get you that information, okay? So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like Vlad said, any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. If it's confidential, reach out to me personally. We'll get connected and we'll get you those answers. Well,
okay,
wraps it up, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. For all of you, I'm not gonna say any names because it's just a lot of people who were asking for our next video. Here it is. We're gonna do our best in order that it doesn't take that long for us to make the next one. But believe us, you are the one asking us to upload more videos, but then you're also the ones keeping us busy. So thank you very much, everyone, for your loyalty, your support. Yeah, so thank you very much, and I am looking forward to see you all in the next video.
All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks again, Vladimir. We'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, guys. Bye.
Love where you live. Visit us at www.realestateinlasterrenas.com or WhatsApp me personally at 1-519-567-1785. See you soon.